Hi, I'm Wendy from Native English with Wendy, and I'm a native English speaker and English teacher from New Jersey in the United States of America. In this video, I want to share with you what you can do to get a native speaker to talk to you, especially on language exchange apps like HelloTalk or Speaky. So have you ever gotten onto one of these language exchange apps and you can't seem to get a native speaker to talk to you? Let me share with you how to do that. Keep watching. Okay, so you decide that you are going to learn to speak English. And maybe somebody told you that you really need to speak with a native speaker, or they told you about these language exchange apps where you can meet a native speaker and you can teach them Portuguese or Spanish and they'll teach you English. So you sign up for one of these language exchange apps like HelloTalk or Speaky. And you find some native speakers, you send them messages, and you get no response. Or maybe you send a message and you get a really brief response. Or the person only says a few things to you and then doesn't talk to you again. Or maybe talks to you for a day and then doesn't talk to you again. And so your dream of finding a native speaker to practice with is destroyed. It's dashed and you get frustrated, right? Is there anything that you can do to get a native speaker to talk to you? Yes, I think that there are some things that you can do to attract native speakers, to get them to talk to you. And there are other things that you can do that will keep them talking to you. So number one, you have to do something or say something to get you noticed. Let me explain a little bit about me. My situation is different. When I go on to one of these language exchange apps, I'm a native speaker. So therefore, as soon as I enter the app, I have requests immediately to practice. In fact, I might have as many as 50 requests in one day. So as a native speaker, and many of the native speakers, this is the situation. They're getting so many requests that they can't answer them all. So you have to do something that's going to draw their attention so that they will look at you, look at your profile. They will answer you. So what can you do? Well, I think one thing that attracts me is when a person asks a specific question. Because of the 50 that I might get, 40 of them are saying hi or hello. So if you say hi or hello, they're not going to answer you probably because they already have 40 other people that have said that. One of the things that someone said recently that really attracted my attention was this. This guy said, I see that you're learning Portuguese. You're learning Brazilian Portuguese. Tell me, what is it that you really like about Brazil? So this question really drew me in, and people always like to give their opinion, right? So I answered him because I thought that was an interesting question. Another kind of question that you can ask is a question for help, a specific question for help. So you can ask about grammar, but beware, most native speakers do not really know very much about grammar. We didn't have to learn all the grammar that you've had to learn as a non-native speaker. And if we did learn grammar, it was when we were really little and we don't really remember it too much. So don't ask them about the present perfect. They're not going to know. They won't be able to answer you, and they won't answer you if you ask a question like that. Instead, ask for help. Say, this is a word that I don't know. Could you pronounce it for me? I'm just wondering how it sounds. Can you help me? I think that people always want to help, right? So if someone is on the app and they really are there for language exchange, this kind of question shows them that you are there for the right reasons and that you want to learn. And like I said, I think people really do want to help. And so that type of person who is there for language exchange will probably answer a question like that because it's a specific question. And what it does is it attracts the person to you, and then you can continue the conversation, right? So number one thing that you need to do is to think of something that's going to get you noticed. Now, don't do anything that's too weird or too bizarre because that will scare people away. Also, make sure that your profile picture is somewhat normal. If you have a profile picture that's just black or doesn't have your picture in it, I think it makes people think that you have something to hide. And so therefore, they're not going to respond to you just because of your profile picture. I think it's good to have maybe a profile picture that's a little creative or interesting, but don't make it too weird because again, people might be scared by that and that could actually repel them instead of attracting them. So make sure you have a really good, sincere looking profile picture and that you ask a question or say something that's going to get you noticed. Also, I think it's a good idea to introduce yourself a little bit rather than just say hello. You know, so say, hi, my name is Wendy. I live in New Jersey, in the United States of America, and I'm learning Spanish. Some of the things that I like to do are photography and running. What do you like to do? So just something really brief. Kind of introducing yourself, but be careful that you don't send too much at once. Sometimes people can get kind of excited and they'll send you like 5 or 10 messages. It's like overload. And what that communicates to the native speaker is this person is going to be a lot of work. This person is kind of needy. And so it's better to keep your initial message kind of brief. But again, make sure you have information in there that is engaging, that tells something about yourself, and shows that you're interested in learning. Okay, now, one thing that you should never do is compliment the person's looks. Now, I don't know how it is in other countries, but here in America, if you compliment a woman's eyes or a smile or you say that she looks beautiful, you might think that this might make her feel good, but actually it does the opposite. Here in America, we want to have relationships with people who respect us as people and who are not just looking at our outside appearance. So if immediately you're saying something like this, what this communicates to the person is this person wants a relationship. This person is not interested in language, or this person is kind of a player, which means that like if I'm a girl and you're a guy and you're talking like this, it's kind of like you say this to all of the girls and you're kind of insincere and maybe a little shallow, you know, like you're not really genuine. So don't compliment her looks. Please don't compliment her looks. And absolutely, absolutely don't ask, are you single? Because if you do that, then it makes the person think that you're there to date. And that might cause them to not respond to you or to stop talking with you if you start talking about these sort of things. So you need to be respectful and you need to be appropriate. Right? Don't ask the question, do you live alone? Because again, that communicates to the person that you're there to date or that you might be looking for something sexual. And it makes people feel awkward. It makes them feel uncomfortable. Also, do not ask for the person's WhatsApp number or Skype right away. People in America, we respect privacy. We don't really want to give out our numbers to people that we don't know. So you need to earn that number. You need to spend some time talking to that person. If you're talking to the person and you've exchanged a few messages and you say, can I have your WhatsApp? Can I have your Skype? You might find that the conversation stops because you've made the person uncomfortable. That person is not ready to give you that information. So what do they say? It's awkward for them. So it's easier for them to stop talking to you than to say, well, you know, I don't feel like I really know you very well, and I feel like I need to talk with you more before I give that information. And then they're afraid that they might offend you, you know, because they're turning you down. It makes them uncomfortable. So don't ask for it. Wait for that person to offer it to you, or wait until you've had a really good conversation and then ask it. But do not ask that question right away. I guarantee you it'll probably stop the conversation right away. Okay, so these are some things that you can do to kind of start a conversation, some do's and don'ts, right? So let's recap. Make sure you have a good profile picture that's not scary. Make sure it shows your face. Make sure you do something that's going to draw attention, but not too much attention. Don't be weird. Don't comment on the person's appearance. Don't tell them that they're beautiful. Don't ask for the WhatsApp number or Skype, right? You don't want to do anything that's going to pressure the person or make the person feel like you're going to require a lot of time from them, right? All right, so what do you do once you are in the conversation with the person? How can you continue the conversation? How can you continue to draw them in? Well, I think number one, don't say to the person, don't apologize for the fact that you don't know English well. Don't do it. It's negative. Don't do it, right? We're all language learners on these apps. We all understand that we have different levels of English. Don't apologize for it. Please don't. It's negative. It's better when you first meet someone to be positive. So don't do that, right? Also, when you're in a conversation with someone, it's good to ask things beyond, you know, where do you live? What's your family like? How many people in your family? What do you do? Like, these kind of questions are asked over and over and over again. So it's better to think of some other questions that you can ask the person, because really you want to develop a connection with that person. You want to find out what sort of things you have in common. So if you really like music, start talking about that. Say, hey, I play guitar, or I sing, or I play piano. Are you musical? And if they're not, then move on to another subject. You know, I really like playing soccer. I play soccer once a week. Do you play soccer, or do you like sports? So it's a good idea to talk about your interests. Another thing that you can do is to ask about the person's culture, right? Because we always like to talk about the things in our lives, you know? So tell me about your town. What is your town like? What's your favorite thing about your town? What's your favorite thing about being a Brazilian? What's your favorite thing about being an American? How do you think Americans and Brazilians are different? Ask these sorts of questions in order to make connections. And also be yourself. Be funny. Make jokes. It's okay to make jokes. Show people who you are. You want to be genuine with the people. I think Americans are people who will open up. They will share a lot of information with you. We're very friendly. We're very open. So it's a good idea to ask them questions, even if you think that they're more personal. Oh, and another note, don't be offended. Don't be offended if an American asks you what you do, because this is a really important question for an American. We're not trying to find out how much money you make. We don't consider that to be a personal question. In fact, we consider that to be a question that we will ask almost immediately. You know why? Because to us, what we do is who we are. Our work is who we are. Our identity is in our work. So if I ask you, what do you do? I'm not trying to find out how much money you make. I'm trying to find out who you are, because what you do shows me what type of person you are. So don't be offended by that. Please don't be offended by it. It will probably be one of the first questions that an American asks you, right? And so they're going to want to know from you, what do you do? Because like I said, this is something that tells them who you are. And I know it's different. I know it's different in different cultures. In other cultures, the identity is tied into the family or the interests that you have or the things that you like to do or the type of person you are. This is who you are. But in America, unfortunately, who you are is what you do. So I hope this video has been helpful. I hope that you go out there and you find a native speaker to speak with, because honestly, this is the best way to learn. I know that I have learned Portuguese entirely from speaking to people. I haven't studied any grammar. Now I still have a long way to go, but I learned Spanish a different way. I learned Spanish through a book and never learned to speak it. And my Portuguese is starting to catch up with my Spanish just through talking with people. So honestly, this is the best way that you can learn, is to talk with native speakers. So I hope that you will go out there, that you will join one of these language exchange apps, and that you do find a language partner to practice with. Oh, another thing to do is to kind of set a goal with a language partner. Once you have a good language partner, see if that language partner is willing to talk with you a little bit every day. Ask them if it's okay if you send them an audio once you switch over to WhatsApp, right? Ask them if it's okay if you send an audio once a day, just a 1-minute audio. Can I send you an audio and you can correct me? This is a great way to learn, because if you just make that 1-minute audio for them, then you're practicing your language and you're getting automatic feedback from that person. So I hope that you will go out there, you will find a partner, a native English partner to practice with, because it's really the best way to learn. So thank you so much for listening. If you liked the video, please subscribe, share it, and let me know what you think about what I said. Let me know what your experience has been on these language exchange apps. Do you have any advice for me or any advice for others who are watching? Please share your comments with me. I read everyone. I love to hear from you. Have a great day.